I am officially hanging out on the air. I'm about to do my weekly Watch Me Work live stream, working on my, let's see, on my drawings and such and so forth. This week I'm going to be working on some portrait drawing. Let's see here. Okay. Now, I'm actually going to be working on a portrait that I've already started but needed to finish anyway. It's a pet portrait for a friend. And this will I'll kind of go through a little bit of my process, just the way that I draw, but also just kind of actually finish up some things that have been needing to be finished up for a while now. Let's see. All right, I'm going to go here and share this real quick on Watch Me Work so that I can join other artists also streaming their work, which is pretty awesome. Let's see. Somehow I'm still an old grandma when it comes to YouTube, and sorry about that. So anyway, I'm doing this pet portrait for a friend. She actually commissioned it to me a little while ago, but I had started a job right after I was commissioned, and then it just it was not on a strict timeline, so it kind of didn't get finished yet. So now I'm gonna do it. Okay, let me just make sure people can see where I'm at. Sorry, I'm just gonna try and share this really quick. I had a lot of fun last week doing this. It was really enjoyable, and last week I was working on a flower, a peony. In fact, this is not that one. Oh yeah, I also did some presidential portraits this week, but I was working on a peony illustration last week based off of this picture. I do most of my illustrations and stuff based off of photo references, just because it helps to get proportions correct and everything, and eventually it also helps you work more from imagination as well. So this is a pet portrait of a cute little dog. That is my friend Jennifer's dog. Typically, whenever I'm working, I will typically work by shapes. You know what? I'm not sure why my face is also not on there, but oh well. Oh, there's my face only. It's just interesting. Okay, I don't know. I'm just gonna put it back on this. All right. working on this. I know that's annoying. I'm sorry. Okay, so I'm working on my pet portrait and stuff. And I don't know how to put my face back on there. So sorry. Yeah, these guys are really awesome. If you don't know about Watch Me Work, head to the Watch Me Work website. I'm gonna put it in the comments below or in the little chat, and you can follow the Watch Me Work stream. Okay. Oh, there we go. I'm not really sure if that's even the right way to do it, but oh well. So let's see. This is really awesome. This Radiant Rain person is really awesome. I'm doing facial modeling on Photoshop, I'm guessing, or probably not Photoshop at all. Wow, that's really awesome. Wow. Okay, well, I'm gonna get started. Typically in my work, I enjoy man, okay. And also, you know, I'll just like draw out lines first. And then fill them in with the eyedropper tool. I typically use short keys just to kind of like make the process nice and simple, and to keep it as fast as possible. I know I told everyone that this week I would be faster, but honestly, I probably will still be generally slow. Luckily, I already have like a framework to work with. Hey, do you wanna go, or you good? I'm hanging out with my niece right now, but I get easily distracted. So here we are, right here, working on the floor, and I kind of want to start a portrait, but I probably should start a portrait instead of just finishing one. I wanted to do a pet portrait because I wanted to submit it to this contest. What I'm gonna do instead of that is redo this pet portrait that I started with one of my favorite dogs. His name is Ziggy. And instead of finishing this up, which will be really easy, I feel like I should just refine this one instead. Because it's already something that I know I want to submit. Maybe I should finish this first. Man, I'm sorry for confusing everyone. All right, instead I'm going to go ahead and finish this. Typically, to kind of make my work faster, I will kind of do a bunch of line work and then fill it in like piece by piece, but if it's simple stuff like this, kind of keep things a little wobbly and wiggly and fun and kind of not that realistic sometimes. Even when I'm doing portraits, I kind of think that there is a good place still for just having fun with uh, making things a little less hyper realistic. Even though I can, I mean, I never got that great at perspective anyway, probably because I don't enjoy it that much. Um, but, you know, I'm actually kind of fine with that. I don't really, I think that I can get much better in different seasons of my work and whenever I need to know perspective and do more perspective. Like I typically get better and better at it. But as a practice, I don't really love doing that much with perspective. Like most illustrators really like they use it really well and they do it really well. And that's great. Um, for me, I don't know. I just like having fun with my work and anything that isn't that fun, I typically don't do it that often. So basically right now I'm just kind of building this floor underneath this dog. Um, I typically I like to use, oh, okay. I did not realize this was happening like this. Um, let's see. Sorry, I didn't realize this was happening like that. Okay, let's see here. Needing to be finished up for a while now. Okay, let's see here. I accidentally got something needing to be finished up wrong on here. Let's see here. I accidentally got something needing to be finished up wrong. Let's see here. I accidentally got. I have to stop this for a sec. Dang it. Man. Darn it. Okay, I'm gonna look at other artists for a sec because I clearly am a little off on this. Dang it. How did that happen? I just. This sucks. Okay. Now I'm going to try and do this again because this is fun. Okay. Try and do this again because this is. Oh, man, I do not know how to do stream options. Man, how did I do this before? Go live. Go live. Learn more.
Do you want me to bring you some pizza?
Sure. Thank you. I don't know what happened to this, so trying to. Dang it. Okay. Sorry, this is a little frustrating. So, trying to. Dang it. Okay. Sorry, this is a little frustrating. Trying to. Okay. Darn. Oh, pizza guy. I think I've started multiple streams now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my niece. I think I've started multiple streams now. I don't know what's going on. How do I get out of here?
I don't know.
I think I've started multiple streams. I mean, this is fun. Okay, Google Hangouts. Okay, here we go. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry. Now I'm just a little confused. Okay. Just finishing this portrait.
I knew it.
Thank you.
I figured you'd like something like that.
Hangers.
Baby
All right.
hangers.
So anyway, okay. I live with my brother and his family.
It's
It's
crazy.
really fun. Hey, Bubba. I'm gonna lock that now because I'm super distracted.
And other stuff.
Yeah. So right now I'm working on this floor, which I typically like to do it shape by shape, and I do shapes by the shade. Yeah. Like light and dark. Okay. I'm not sure why I'm live streaming both, or if I can stop one of them. No, I'm just really confused. Delete. Okay. I don't remember how to do this now. All right, well, I'll just keep drawing and hope for the best. And All right, pardon me. I'm gonna work on getting back on there real quick. All right, pardon me. I'm gonna work on getting back on there real quick. All right, pardon me. Okay. So basically, I'm working on a portrait again. It's kind of good to be able to see your work after you've already started and like left it for a little bit. It's easier to see where proportions and dimensions are kind of off. Again, I typically will sample colors from photos just because it's simpler that way. And I change it based off of what I think the end result, what I think goes best with the end result. Right now I'm just kind of like filling in colors to kind of see what looks best so far. Okay, thank you. So, man, this is part of the reason it's hard to get stuff done around here. I get super distracted. But anyway, I guess that's life, you know? Every life has its distractions, but technically they're not really distractions. They're just an opportunity to kind of involve someone younger in your life, you know, which is really good for younger people and really good for all ages to have access to younger people and older people and people that are different from them, you know, even if sometimes it's like it can seem frustrating, but really I think it's good for people to involve others, you know, even if it takes a little bit longer to do something, which it does for my work. But that's okay. All right, so these lines are going this way. I'm going to kind of, normally I would do like a general kind of map out of directions first to kind of not waste my time doing stuff. But you know, I haven't wasted that much time. And typically whenever I draw the different shapes that I work with, I'm looking at the angles and everything as well. Okay. So I'm going to kind of finish up a little bit of this. And now I feel like I owe you guys more than just this. I wanted to get started on a human portrait today. But then I had some technical difficulties right before this. So I'm probably going to do that next week. Or maybe, who knows, if I stay on here a little bit longer, I might start another portrait. Because I have another pet portrait that I can do. No, don't know exactly what I want to do with these. So I'm going to take them off for now because it gets a little confusing to have various things all over the place, you know. Okay. Okay. So I'm kind of just cleaning this up a little bit. And you know what? I probably will do another. Oh, that's my nephew. He is autistic, so, you know, he can be really emotional sometimes. It can be hard to communicate sometimes when you're autistic.
Pizza's here.
Okay, awesome.
And it'll be gone if you're not careful.
All right. Well, I'm not really hungry anyway. Okay. Well, okay. Mm. I just realized that I'm not actually streaming on Watch Me Work. So okay. I'm not sure how I can possibly be streaming 2 times at once. But, you know, just works out. Okay. All right, restarting. Woohoo! Except not really. This is really just continuing. All right, restarting. Woohoo! Except not really. This is really just continuing. Oh man. All right, restarting. Woohoo! All right, this may not happen. I'm just gonna finish this and not worry about it tonight. Okay. I'm going to finish my portrait. Honestly, a lot of other people have kind of more exciting ways that they do work, and that's awesome. So, you know, being an artist is really interesting. Being an illustrator, this year, you know, I just finished up school last June, and I've just found that, you know, I got a lot of advice whenever I was in school, and I found that most of it is pretty accurate. It can be like kind of discouraging once you're out and on your own. Even when you have jobs, you know, it can be kind of, especially if you keep up with other people's work, it can be really awesome for other people. Then, you know, like if you can, there's like this temptation to not feel like you're doing enough and stuff. And Anyway. Okay, so right now I'm kind of using a little mixture of the selector tool and the pencil tool to kind of refine some shapes, you know, without ruining everything. And sometimes, again, you have to kind of like just start over and not worry about it. That can be good advice for a lot of things. Like, just start over. But you see, these guidelines really help to know kind of what you're working with. I'm going to try one more time to join this again. And of course, it's not working. I'm clearly not using the right URL, but I don't know what URL to use. Anyway, hopefully you're enjoying this, and feel free to comment below if anyone is even watching this. I don't know. I think I'm gonna finish this up and then get off here for now. Okay. All right. Sometimes I alternate a little bit between the brush tool and the pencil tool, just depending on kind of the feel I'm going for. Pen tool can be a little bit more wobbly. The brush tool can be a little bit more smooth. And so it all kind of also depends on the settings you have it on. You can actually change the accuracy versus smoothness factor by going in, like double clicking on it, on the tool. And then it's called the fidelity. So if you want it more accurate and less like poppy and smooth, you can kind of measure your amount of the way you want to do that. And then it'll make it either just super smooth or super according to your exact movement. And I like to work around, I like to leave spaces in between objects because I think I don't know, it's like it kind of like impressionism. It invites the light in and helps you to kind of I don't know, it just feels more fun too and playful whenever I separate things a little bit. But it's mostly the light that it lets in. My nephew has the best voice right now. He's 7 years old and he sounds like a chipmunk, and it's great. So I Hey.
Guess what? Pizza's good.
I don't think I'm gonna have any pizza tonight. Pretty sure it's gonna be gone by the time I'm done, which is fine because I am a grown human being. One cool thing about living with your family is they always invite you, or living with any family for that matter, they always invite you to eat with them, and it always feels just like really great. I love being around families, especially my own. I mean, not especially my own. Sometimes my own can be kind of annoying, just like anyone's own family. But, you know, you live with them, you love them, and it's great. And so let's see here. Just kind of refining some shapes a little bit and having some fun with it. I think next week I'm going to make kind of more of a script of what I'm working on, just because I think that can be fun. And I'll start something from scratch. Okay, let's move those things. Kind of, I'm glad I put those guidelines on because now I can see where some things just need to be slightly tilted to be a little bit more according to reality, I guess. You know, I actually prefer to have the same amount of smoothness and accuracy when it comes to fidelity. I may do a few more streaming things this week just to kind of get the feel more for doing live streamings so that I can have something really good for you guys. I apologize if there's anything off right now. I know that I'm not live streaming on Watch Me Work, and that's fine. I'm just gonna have to figure that out and, you know, correct it and stuff. But again, this is a really nice way to just like get work done. I have plans on working on a map of the city I live in. I started it last weekend and I'm pretty far along. But that's been a really fun process. Just knowing that, like, I don't know, just knowing you can make your own map is fun. And so, okay, going to kind of continue color sampling and and I don't have music playing this time because it turns out, you know, being new to this, you know, you don't realize sometimes that, okay, like if you play music, even if you mention the musicians' names, it's a copyright infringement. So now that I know that, I'm gonna be like picking some songs from a list of non-copyright music, probably, or I'll just get a better script and have fun chatting the whole time and just talking about my process and everything. just because sometimes that's fun enough, you know? Like you're there to watch and learn stuff, you know? And so, okay, kind of rounding up with this, kind of finishing up and getting this to a good place where I can just kind of finish quickly after. And now oh yeah, this is a cool thing. Now I'm going to take these lines off because it helps. I mean, really, any guidelines that you have on there, you don't really, once you stop needing them, you just stop needing them. And it's okay to take off any structures, like even if you just move them to the side, any structures that you're not using anymore. Okay, that's a little much. Okay. Man, I wish that this was working right on here to where I could join into the Watch Me Work one.
Did you know that they also have menstrual underwear?
So, okay, I'm finishing up with this, and now I'm going to go, I'm going to continue to where I think the map might be on here. So this is kind of how I do my work. I just kind of like keep adding stuff. And over here I had some mock-ups with some photos that are now not in here. And of just like different patterns of mine. Oh, that's something I could do. I could show you how to make a pattern, which is really simple. I think I'm just going to wrap this up and then make a sweet thing for next week. So finishing up a portrait, I tend to I like to put their names on them. And I don't know, just kind of wrap up what I already have on here and kind of make it this nice little package. Also, just talking a little bit more about the difference between filling in spaces with changing the shape with the brush tool versus the pencil tool. The brush tool, you can change the shape of your shape slightly, you know, by rounding out, like outlining it the way you actually want it. After selecting it, first you have to select it, and then the brush tool, you have one move that you can do that with. Versus when you use the pencil tool, you can just keep editing it until you unselect it. But the only thing is, the pencil tool is a little messier. It leaves some like unseemly marks sometimes, just because it's more pencil-y, like I said. It's a little less smooth than You know, like imagining paint versus a pencil. You know, a pencil's a little bit more rough. Paint is more smooth. Still, sometimes just like the pencil tool just saves more time because I don't have to keep clicking on it. Um, which of course the selector tool is the V. The V. Um, just V equals selector. Okay, so now I'm going to add these. I may actually not use these and just make some organic light shapes instead, because I don't know, sometimes you go off of photo reference and other times you got to just grow those shapes into something fun and just put your own flair on it and not worry about it being um, exact or exactly like the picture, you know? Because ultimately, people hire you to do portraits for your own take. You know, they typically will be exposed to your work and they enjoy your way of doing it. And well, just that. Make it unique, have fun with it. And so, okay, I'm gonna just tie this. Typically, okay, whenever I have an animal or a person against some sort of background, um, interesting background, I like to separate them out by outlining them just behind the subject. I like to make a little like white outline. Um, and also, this is actually an easier way if you want to do the portrait of the actual subject of the portrait before the background. You can do the portrait, get all the colors and shapes right and everything, and then separate it by like literally just taking it off, moving it to the side, and then doing the background in full. And actually there's better continuity that way. It's just it's better that way usually. But hey, I don't always start like that. I'm not always that organic, you know, or I'm more of an organic artist than an organized Oh, okay. Move this back over here. It's 8:04. I'm about to finish this up, and currently I'm taking these new things I'm making, putting them back on their own layer so that I can like not get confused, because the smaller an object is in an illustration, like the easier it can just kind of, I don't know, get really frustrating to deal with, especially if like other parts of the illustration are not grouped. I'm kind of doing these lights in a fashion of the way I do flowers as well. It kind of can be a fun motif to carry on to new subjects, you know. And just like having those like, I don't know, leaf-like edges is fun. And let's see. And normally in a portrait, it's also good to plan where you're going to put the name. If you are going to put the name, I know most people prefer that you do, just because it highly personalizes it. And I think like maybe this could be a good place. Sometimes I take a look at an illustration and I'm like, okay, I get feedback from the actual my client, and realize, you know, the name or anything would be better elsewhere, you know. And so I do rely on my clients to kind of give me feedback occasionally, just like any artists commissioning things. It's good to have a nice working relationship with your client so that they are satisfied with your work, you know, because joy, it's different when they are personally satisfied with what you've done for them. Okay. I think her name was Bella. Just gonna, oh, Liberty Bell. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of have fun with this name first. Again, sorry I have so many things going on this. This is kind of like my master worksheet of where I do random illustrations. And so there you go. For names, I kind of like to use the pen tool and then just like organically have a little fun with the name and then play around with it. So, all right, it's Liberty. All right. They're on different freaking layers. Okay. That's the thing about layers. That could be annoying sometimes. So I like to use short keys. Once again, I use a lot of short keys. So the short key for pushing something behind something else is Shift Command and then the back bracket. Right. So I like the edginess of edges. So I'm kind of just gonna go with it and like have some fun. Liberty. Liberty. Man, sometimes when you get to doing different things, other things pop into your head that you forgot to do during the day. But you can see that the width of these letters is not really that similar, so I kind of just play around with it to get them a little bit more close to the same width, you know. And let's see here. Yeah, sometimes it can be fun to also play with the sizes and not do like a typical like something super typical. And I don't know, I'm thinking maybe no. Nope. Then it's kind of, and I'm gonna just copy this, paste it down here. And the way I do that is with using the selector with the Option and Command, and it has a little plus sign. You can copy it, which is fun to know. I don't really like shapes that are too jagged. I like that retro look of having something fat on one side and skinny on the other. Just like alternating that, which can be fun. All right, again, I'm just gonna copy and paste. All right. Finishing that. Then also I use the Pathfinder tool to, break holes in things and interact shapes with each other and all that stuff. And sometimes I will mix a little bit of pen and brush just for a different look. But I don't know, I'm also just having some experimental fun here too. All right, and I'm gonna erase that and just do like a more, why is this like this? Rectangle tool. What is it doing that for? Not really sure why it's doing that. Might have been from earlier. Oh, okay. I'm in the perspective tool, which honestly I'm not that privy to. I don't really understand. I mean, I just don't really use digital perspective tools very much. All right, let's see if I can get out of there somehow. I may just do it by sight and not worry about it. All right, I'm going to save this. I'm going to finish this portrait up and then just kind of end it and then say next week we're going to work on doing some patterns. And maybe I might work a little bit on my map just because that's really fun to do. All right, I'm going to use my pen tool. Kind of just eye it. Push it to the back. Group that. And then fit it in there. And you know, that's kind of, I don't know if that's the best way to do it or the best color even. But I like to use a color from the actual composition in the name so that it kind of ties it in together and makes it more I don't know. It just pulls in and unifies the composition a little bit more. And I'm going to do this kind of like I do flowers, where I just kind of like alternate colors. And okay, I'm going to ungroup that, even though obviously it can be frustrating. But for this purpose, I really need to be ungrouped. You know, I'll just like alternate a little bit. And yeah, I don't know if I love this, but I'm going to play around with it some more offline. And I think I'm just going to call it a night as far as live streaming. And I just want to thank you for joining me and hope everyone has a good night. Happy Thursday. All right.